Carlsen on stream. Thank you for being here. If you haven't seen the stream last Friday, the middle game stream, then you may not know what the concept of today's stream is. Basically, I've posed a question to the viewers last Friday during the middle game stream to see what they would like to see. And I've given a couple of options. Hey, Blunderated. So the idea was basically that for this week's endgame and middle game stream, the viewers would suggest a position which I haven't seen before, and unlike previous weeks, I would have to analyze something I have no idea about, which could be fun, could be less instructive, could be more instructive, I don't know, but we are going to test it. Okay, how is it going in Croatia? Oh, I'm sorry, Blunderated. In Croatia, I think everybody is sort of keeping with the rules and obeying the rules. Most people I know are stuck at home and don't go out at all. I wish things improve in Italy. I mean, in Croatia, people basically don't go out anymore and only go out to shops when it's necessary. So, and there are very, very strict rules for what you can do and what you cannot do. I mean, they are talking about decreasing the measures somewhat. Hello, Octopus Knight. Hi. I don't know. It's going well in Croatia for now. I think we have under 2,000 cases still, which is good. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very worried that I will not be able to play chess for a while. Zdravo Ori. Zdravo Rishimundra. Hello Rishimundra. So yeah, I don't know. Hello user unknown. I'm glad you could catch the stream too. So yeah, hello El Gambito. I think things are going to improve soon. I've read hello Devi. I've read something some scientist wrote that either the virus is going to go away or they're going to come up with a vaccine. Well, yeah, at least there's Lichess practice in the meantime, which is not ideal because Lichess practice doesn't give you a chance to win rating points. Rishi Mundra, okay, for those of you who didn't catch the first few minutes of the stream, hello Sean Ferry, hello. So today, sack the queen for a rook and practice? What? Okay, so today I'm going to analyze an endgame you guys suggest. The idea of today's stream is that you don't give me time to prepare, that I have to analyze out of my head. And yeah, so if you guys would like to suggest an endgame, whoever links an FEN or a link to chessgames.com first, I'm going to be analyzing that endgame. So guys, okay, Blunderated, thank you. Guys, we have an endgame. Please don't suggest any more. Blunderated was the quickest one. Okay, let me just import that FEN, paste, wait. Can you just press enter now? Okay. Okay, we have a position. Is it white to play? Yeah, it's white to play. Okay, let's delete this move. Okay, guys, we have a position from a Caro-Kann defense, says Blunderated. Sam Hats, yeah, that was quick. Okay, so just yeah, let's see. Is this an end game though? This seems like a middle game still. Let's see. So okay, what's going on here? It's white to play. Queen, rook, and bishop versus queen, rook, and knight. This seems to be the Korchnoi variation of the Caro, where knight f6 is played and knight f6, ef6. So okay, my a pawn is hanging. I have a way to try and go for a queen trade with queen to d2. I still don't know if I would call this an endgame though. I don't know. I don't know. I think I would still call this a middle game. But nevertheless, let's see. This is going to be a bit slower than last time because I will need to think a lot more. I have no idea about this position yet. Hello, Principal Cookie. Sam Hats, I have no way to skip moves because I don't know what the next moves are. Blunderated just gave an FEN of the position. So what's our idea here? We have a 4-3 pawn majority on the queen side, which is a real pawn majority, unlike black's 4-3 on the king side, which is one of the biggest advantages of facing the Korchnoi Karo-Kan for white. So black's pawn majority on the king side doesn't really do anything, and black will have a hard time creating a passed pawn. So to my mind, I want to keep control over e1 as much as possible. So it seems like I could be in a bit of trouble if I allow rook e1, queen e1, king h2. And something like queen f1, double attacking g2, bishop f3 or bishop h3. Bishop h3 isn't really good, I think, but bishop f3 could be okay. High ee. So e1 square is critical, the a2 pawn shouldn't really be lost. A queen trade could be offered, in which case I believe white would have an edge. So after something like queen d2, queen c7 is basically forced. If I trade queens on d2 and black gets his rook to e1, I don't think that's good for black. I think that's very good for white because my rook is shielding the second rank. b3 seems kind of passive. I don't want to play b3. So queen d2, queen c7 I'm expecting, because if queen d2, rook d2, rook e1, king h2 and black gets nowhere, I can just push my pawn. Trading queens would be, I think, almost winning for white. So let's just put that on the board. So if this happens, I don't think black has chances in this endgame because my pawn is going to be advancing. For example, if rook e1 has suggested that king h2 and my pawn is rolling forward. Although king f8, d5 takes, and king e7 seems to be okay, but still the king is going to have to blockade on the d8 square, and my pawn is kind of weak. Okay, so if a queen trade happens, then I don't think rook e1 should be played. Black should probably continue with rook to d8, and then that makes it harder for me to push my pawn majority, in which case I would probably just advance my pawns up the board. And if I go g3, knight e6, I believe d5 takes, knight c7, d6, and eventually, if the knight reaches e6 again, where I cannot challenge it, I would say black is equal at least. Okay, so let's go back. Hey, Roger that. Okay, I'm still not sure if I would call this an endgame. though. I like queen d2, but I think against queen d2, black just plays queen c7. Trading queens seems better for white. So let's analyze queen c7. After queen c7, I could go for a passed pawn on d5, but I feel that with queens on the board, my isolated pawn would be more of a weakness than a strength after something like queen to d6 blockading the pawn. And now all black has to do is force me to defend it. So for example, getting the knight to e5 for now would be met by f4, but f4 seems very risky. So after queen c7, I don't think white should be forcing through d5 so soon. I think I need a better plan. If the knight ever reaches e6, I don't want to take it with the bishop. My bishop is better than the knight in this position because it controls both sides of the board. If the knight goes to g6 in this position, it doesn't have the e5 square. So keeping my pawn on d4 is beneficial. Also, the knight is sort of restricted for the moment, and the queen is tied down to defending the knight. I'm not sure I want to go g3, forcing the knight back. G3 is a very weakening move. I could offer a rook trade. If I go rook e1, then rook d8 seems to improve black's position. I could try pushing my queenside pawns up the board. But let's try to figure out what happens if black does nothing. Let's say white has the move again. What would I do? If white had two moves, I'm sorry. So compared to the starting position, my queen is better than his queen now. But I still feel that pushing my pawn isn't good. So if my c-pawn moves, then of course his knight gets the d5 square, and I think if white blunders with something like c5, then the game would be probably better for black after this blockade. So my c-pawn is the key piece here. And if I push d5 and exchange, then a pretty similar thing happens, that I'm not controlling the d5 square anymore. Even though the pawn is there, the knight could easily take on d5 if I'm not careful. So I don't want to push d5 just yet. The problem is, how do I improve my position if I don't push d5? I cannot really challenge the e-file because he transfers the rook to d8. That could be good though. If rook e1, rook d8, I'm still defending the pawn and I'm controlling the e-file. So for example, something like rook to e4 would force the knight back to g6, because if knight e6, I win a pawn. So rook e4, knight g6 is forced. And in this position, I could force the knight all the way back with h5. But I'm kind of afraid to play h5. h5, knight f8 to e6 with the same threat. h5, knight to e7 seems fairly dominant for me. h5, knight e7 threatens f5, winning my bishop. h5, knight e7, queen e3 threatens to win the knight, in which case you would have to go either rook e8 or knight c8. So let's look at h5, knight e7 threatening f5. If queen e3, f5, then I take, and I believe I just win. So queen e3 threatening to win the knight, rook d7 is impossible, rook e8 seems, I don't know, very risky. The problem is, how do I make progress? So his knight is pinned for the moment. The only threat he has is f5, but f5 can be answered with bishop takes f5. Because if white just plays a nothing move, then f5, bishop f5, knight f5 wins the rook. So I like this. So queen d2, queen c7, rook e1 trying to initiate a queen trade, and he has to decline, because if he doesn't decline, this should be much better for me. Now my passed pawn is a lot more potent, and also I have a lot of mating threats. So I'm expecting him to decline that and put pressure on my pawn, but now rook e4 seems fairly straightforward, attacking the knight. Again, if knight e6, I win a pawn. If knight g6, h5, and knight e7, queen e3 seems good. If knight f8, he's not really threatening anything, so I could continue. How do I continue here? My d pawn is defended. I've taken the file. But what's the way to make progress? His queen doesn't really have any good infiltration squares. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm not keeping an eye on the chat because I'm trying to focus. Let me just look at the chat. Sorry, just a second. Maybe try to prepare b5 undermining c6. Okay, b5 is a good idea. Why no consideration of g3? Well, g3 weakens my king blunder rated, so for now I'm trying to avoid moving the pawns around my king. I think the correct plan here is trading off heavy pieces. I agree, Roger, that, but it's hard to trade off heavy pieces. Hello, Hetrox. Leaves the d5 square weak. Yes, yes, yes. White here wins bishop versus knight, and he wins also king versus king with the passed pawn on d5. I agree with both statements, Roger, that, but it's hard to do all of that without weakening my d5 pawn irreparably. Okay, I'll try to keep an eye on the chat. So what do we have so far? So my idea is queen d2 offering a queen trade. If the queen trade is accepted, I should be better, but without pushing the d5 pawn immediately. So queen d2, queen c7, only move to defend the knight. And then rook e1, trying to trade off rooks, in which case if the rook trade is accepted, white would have an easier time. If the rook trade is declined, then rook d8, rook e4 forces the knight back. And I think most of this is forced. So queen c7, rook e1, rook d8, rook e4, knight g6, h5, knight e7. I think this is forced. And now queen e3, getting away from the pin and preparing to advance my pawn, double attacking the knight. If rook to e8, that's extremely passive. If knight to c8, then I believe I can just win like this. Takes, 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 here and here. I believe this is just winning. For example, like this. And this endgame should be probably an easy win for white with the bishop against knight, although I'm not sure. It's going to be a question of whether white can get his king up quickly. So let's say knight d6 to play with tempo, b3. And what black has to do here is trade off as many pawns as soon as possible. So I would suggest the move b5, although that doesn't lose a pawn immediately because the knight is defending. But yeah, I could just play c5, and after the knight moves I could take here, so b5 is not good. So let's say black tries to bring his king up. Let's restrict this knight with f3. So king here, here, here. The problem is that my bishop is not so good at the moment. After f3, my bishop is fairly restricted. And I think f3 could be a mistake because I'm taking away squares from my bishop. So the other hand, if I play c5 immediately and then bishop c8 and then attack the c6 pawn again, I don't think there's an easy way to defend. So c5, let's say, what's the trickiest? Knight here, attacking my pawn, and then if I offer a trade like this, I think white should be much better and able to create a passed pawn. So yeah, my conclusion is that after this, in my mind, forced variation, white should be better. So queen d2, queen c7, rook e1, rook d8, rook e4, knight g6, h5, knight e7, queen e3. And I don't know. If rook e8, then it seems very good for me. If knight c8, then I believe I can just trade the queens off and trade everything off and be better. Just let me catch up on the chat. Have I read any good chess books lately? Yes, Chess for Zebras, Amateur 2IM, Shereshevsky's Endgame Strategy. And I'm going through Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual again. Okay, am I going to play viewers? No, I'm not. This is an endgame lesson. Black could have played f5, go back and capture the knight, trap the bishop. Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual takes a year to read. In a few moves, instead of checking the king with the bishop, I would have taken the knight with the... Yeah, I agree. No blunder rated, this is fine. Octopus Knight, Patreon is in US dollars. Croatia doesn't have dollars. We have kuna. Kuna is an animal similar to a weasel. What's the English name for kuna? Wow, I'm actually going to Google it on my phone. I think it's otter. No, otter is vidra. Wait. Wait, just a second. Kuna English. Just give me a second. This is an interesting thing I've never... Marten? What? Marten. M-A-R-T-E-N. I've never heard that word. So that's the Croatian currency. We don't use the euro yet. So Marten? I don't know. Yeah, marten is similar to a weasel or an otter. It's a small, thin, quick animal, and the currency is called kuna because marten furs were used as a currency way back in Slavic times and also in the Middle Ages. So yeah, the furs of the animal were used to trade, same way gold is a currency today. So that's why our currency is called kuna. Alrighty, let's go back. We have martens in Croatia. We have them, yeah. That's why the currency is called that. I have to admit I've never seen one. But by the way, I was in London 2 months ago, and there are foxes, or is that a singular? There are foxes in the city actually living in London, which is weird. Anyway, let's get back to the endgame. Okay, Okay, so let's think of another plan. So one plan with white is queen d2. The other plan with white I don't really have. If I just play b3, I'm not sure what black is doing here. So if I give black a move, maybe black has time to arrange his defenses, although I'm not sure how. Maybe black could try to gain space with h5. And now after h5, if bishop f3, then my bishop is no longer ideally placed. And, well, he has taken up some space. So maybe h5 is an idea for black if I'm not quick enough. Although I wouldn't be too afraid. So let's say h5, bishop f3. What now? What does he do now? Maybe he could try b5 now to try and disrupt my pawn majority. Maybe he could try that immediately if b3, b5 and trying to, well, disrupt my idea. So if I go queen d2 now, he could now trade, takes, and this seems easier to hold than the previous position. So I think I need to play energetically, and I need to play forcing moves to make sure he doesn't have time for b5. Because whenever b5 is played, my pawns are split and it gets much harder to do anything. So let's stick to queen d2. Again, I'm declining the possibility of a queen trade because that seems fairly easy for white to convert. Let's just go over that again. My idea would now be to play g3 and march my king up the board, evict the knight, play h5, and try to gain as much space as possible. Ideally get my king to the queen side before the black king can get to the queen side. and try to queen my pawns. So I would expect queen c7. And now, for now, the counterintuitive rook e1, forcing the rook behind my passed pawn, seems best. Is bishop f5 possible? Wait. Just let me catch up with the chat. You think g3 is a good move? Okay, you wouldn't like to trade queens, Minecraft, I agree. Are Martins similar to civets? I don't know what a civet is. I have no idea. How about after b5, bishop d7? Wait, after b5, bishop d7, in which position? In the starting position after b3, b5, bishop d7. Yeah, that's a fair point. Fair point, although after rook d8, bishop c6, b c4, queen c4. Yeah, bishop d7 is a good move. I missed that completely. So b5 immediately doesn't work. But maybe h5, forcing the bishop back first, because if the bishop goes away from this diagonal, let's say to f5 now, then rook to e2 seems crushing if I allow rook to e2. So the bishop would have to stay on f3. And now, I don't know. I think h5 is a good try for black. There's still no easy way to infiltrate, but maybe rook e1 now, rook e1, queen e1, king h2. And now what can we do to complicate matters here? Yeah, I wouldn't play rook e1 with black. I don't like trading pieces, but I kind of feel that black has improved his position with h5. So no, I wouldn't play b3. I know you don't do opening theory, but can you please cover the Vienna game? I do opening theory, but not scheduled, and I will finish the London system theory in the next month or so. I just don't want to force myself to have to do it. Okay. All right. So yeah, do you guys agree with my idea of queen d2? Does anybody have a better suggestion for move one? I don't think I have any better ideas for now. Can anybody suggest a better first move than queen d2? Queen d2 and g3. Okay, let's look at g3. After g3, knight e6, what is your follow-up? You want to play d5. Yes, I think after this trade, how do I need to blockade you on this square. Okay, first glance I would probably go knight f8 to keep guard of this square. And now if you continue pushing your pawn, I don't think I can take here because of this and this. I don't think I can hold this. But if I just go back here and you advance, I think I could win this pawn eventually. If you're forced to defend it, then I believe black has managed to get somewhere, although it could still be very scary. If you continue with queen c8 and queen b6, Maybe even rook d6 now, and after queen d6, queen d8 seems incredibly winning. So maybe you guys are right. Maybe just g3, knight e6, d5 is winning enough, forcing the passed pawn through. So if g3, let's try knight g6 so that d5 doesn't come with tempo. So if d5 now takes here, and if you advance, I now have knight e5, and if f4, your king is exposed. And I could try... Ah, no, I cannot check you because your queen is defending. So I still think f4 shouldn't be played, and I'm changing my mind to after g3, knight g6, and my hope is that after you play d5, knight e5 is going to hold the position. I could be wrong though. I'm hanging the bishop. Wait, just a second. Where were we? d5, cd, cd, rook d8. d6. Yeah, I'm hanging the bishop. Jesus, sorry. Okay, so let's say... Okay, so let's say bishop e2. And now if I just go queen b6, how do you defend? Because you don't have f4. So yeah, I don't think g3 is good, because after g3, if I do this, you're not pushing the pawn forward. Bishop h3, you want to go bishop h3 there? Just give me a second. Where were we? Okay, bishop h3. And if I go queen b6 again, what's your plan? If you advance the pawn, then I could probably win the pawn. Just don't know how. I could also probably do something with knight f3. I just mustn't allow queen c7. So what can I do? So let's say I get out of trouble with, let's say, g6, king g7 to prevent any mating ideas. And let's say you try to reach the e7 square. How do you do that? I don't know. I still think g3 is not good. g3, knight g6, and I think black is okay. I don't think you have d5. Let's try to prepare d5. g3, knight g6. Can you do anything except the immediate d5? Maybe you can try h5 first. This seems interesting. Instead of d5, h5 first to force my knight to move, giving away or taking away the e5 square, so that after d5 is played, I don't have knight e5. So here, if I go knight e7, then I think a pin would be very annoying. So after knight e7, I don't have rook e1 because my... Yeah, the queen is looking at e1, but... Maybe queen d2 now, and if queen takes, then d5. No, just queen takes c4. So okay, let's defend the pawn first. Then I don't like playing this way, but maybe this is necessary. This I like. g3 with h5 I like. So g3, knight g6, h5, knight e7, b3. And I'm slowly taking away squares from black. And now I could offer a queen trade. The problem is now if, well, f5 is irritating, but bishop f3 is probably good for me. And now with f4, I could just defend this pawn. I have to keep an eye out for f5. And I'm weakening my king a lot. Okay, just see the chat, queen d2, then advance the pawn, queen b5, blah, blah. After knight e7 you keep an eye on d5, no way, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, I like h5 in the g3 line, but I'm not sure that's the best way to go. I would still prefer queen d2. Okay, any other candidate moves for white? g3, queen d2, do we have any other moves? g3, knight g6, h5, 97, queen d2, queen a2, rook e1. Wait, let's have a look at that. So g3, knight g6, h5, 97, queen d2, queen a2, rook e1. Yeah, but I don't think black takes on a2. I don't think black takes on a2. I think black goes queen c7. And now if rook e1, probably just rook d8. And d5 seems to be sufficiently defended. Okay, a3 as the first move. Wilden Dom. Is that a suggestion for the first move? Let's have a look. What's the idea of a3? a3 seems slow. I think h5 here. And if b4, I win the a3 pawn. And if bishop f3, I wonder if black would go crazy with g5, but I don't think so. Maybe. And how scary is this? I don't think it's scary, but if I could get my bishop to this diagonal, then it would be scary. Though the queen is defending laterally pretty nicely. And if g3 now, I don't know. Hello, ChessTube TV. Thank you for cheering. Thank you for the raid as well, ChessTube TV. Thanks very much. a3, h5, bishop d7. Yeah, thank you for the raid. Woohoo! Okay, so for those of you who just joined, we are doing an endgame analysis lesson with a position I've never seen before, suggested by Blunderated. This is the starting position. It's white to play so far. We've looked at queen d2, g3, a3, and b3. So wait, what was the last suggestion? The last suggestion was the positioning of the bishop is key. a3, h5, bishop d7. Wait, a3, h5, bishop. After bishop d7, I'm thinking rook e2, and black is surely better here. I don't see a way for white to do much here. If you try queen c1, attacking the knight, well, I think there's just too much activity. I don't know how to defend, but this seems scary, allowing the rook to e2. I don't like moving the bishop away from this diagonal, because rook e2 is always annoying. Any other first moves? Hello, Frappuccino. g3 rook e1 check. Immediately after g3 rook e1. That's sensible. So takes king h2. And what's the follow-up? if I go knight g6 here, yeah, this seems very loose, but I still would prefer white. If I can set up a dark square blockade on d6 and put my knight on e5, then I feel I can defend with black easily. So yeah, there are no checks. So if black manages to play queen d6, I don't think the passed pawn is going anywhere. So I kind of agree with the rook trade after g3. And can the rook trade be declined? Well, I guess it can, but still leads to very similar stuff. Okay, so yeah, I agree with that. I didn't like g3 to start with because it weakens the king too much. Okay, so I'm still sticking to queen d2 as the first move. Now, queen d2, I don't want to trade queens with black, so I play queen c7, defending the knight. And now I want to play rook e1, because after rook d8, I get to play rook e4. If the rooks are traded, then I feel like white has an almost overwhelming advantage. b5 shouldn't work, because I could probably just play b3. I want to keep central pawns. I don't want to... If I want to create a passed pawn, I want it to be on the d file. So in this position, it's pretty hard to find a move for black. What black can do is probably play knight g6 to meet d5 with knight e5, but now h5 forces the knight back, or forces the knight to f4. So I like that. And I don't know if that's... I mean, there's no solution to this. Blunderated suggested this position for analysis. If I was playing a real game, how much time did we spend? Just give me a second. It's been 40 minutes already. Can you be a mod? No. I'm sorry. John, my friend, is the mod in the chat. Why would you want to be a mod anyway? That's just a duty. Okay. Okay. So I feel like if after 40 minutes, if I'd spent 40 minutes in a game on this, I will have probably wasted too much time. Frappuccino, because I don't know you. I don't know you, so I don't want you to be able to do anything because I don't know who you are. I would only allow that to a friend of mine or somebody I know really well. Don't be offended. I think that's normal. Okay. So yeah, if this was a real game, I think I would play queen d2 fairly quickly. If that's a problem and if that's a bad move, then I would be punished. But I'm not sure why. Blunderated, are you here? Can you comment on my analysis? Blunderated, are you here still? I'm going to wait for Blunderated to answer because I would play queen d2. If you guys want, we can check our analysis with an engine. Blunderated, it was good. Yeah. Okay. Woohoo. Okay, good. Could you give me the continuation of the game? Could you just paste it in the chat? Blunderated said it was good analysis. Okay. So Blunderated, please give me the continuation in the game and we will see what was played and how we could improve on our play, and we will also engine check. Yeah, we will check with an engine. Let's just see the game continuation. Because I'm sure in the game I would play queen d2. I'm sure I wouldn't consider any other candidates if I had some time with the position. Leroy Jenkins, hello, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Hi, and also thank you for supporting me. Guys, if you don't know the Leroy Jenkins reference, it's from World of Warcraft. If you've ever played World of Warcraft when the game just started in 2004 or 5, some of the first raids were really fun, and there was this guy Leroy Jenkins that ruined the raid for one guild. And yeah, Skakumato, hello. Hi. At least you ain't a chicken. What does that mean? Okay, Blunderated. Okay, you say that the engine suggests G3. Guys, I will turn on the engine now, and let's do 3 lines. Okay, and I will also show you the evaluation bar. Let me just set the filters so that you can see the evaluation bar. Excuse me. Bam. Okay, this should be okay. Okay, chicken is another Leroy reference. I don't know that one. I really don't know it. I mean, I did play World of Warcraft back in vanilla days, 2004, 5, and 6, but I don't know the chicken reference. What could you tell me what the reference is? Okay, so the game was Svidler Carlsen, and it was a draw. So if we switch to this game, can we see it here? We can. So let's see the game continuation. In the game, Svidler played G3. And now our analysis was Rook E1. Okay, this was our analysis. Rook E1, Rook E1, Queen E1, King H2. And I was planning to play Knight G6. But white seems to be better. But after G3, Carlsen played F5. And Bishop F3, yes, has to be played because of Rook E2. And now Rook E1 check, King H2, Rook D1, Queen D1. And Knight G6 with the same plan of stopping D5 with Knight E5, which isn't as strong now because there's no pawn on F6. Okay, let's go back here. So after Queen to D2, let's check our analysis. The engine actually suggests Queen takes D2. And the game is equal. Oh, he says at least I ain't chicken. Okay, I don't know that part. It's been a really long time since I've seen that video. Roger that, we are not relying on engines. I just want to check the analysis. So the analysis was Queen C7, and my idea was Rook E1. For some reason, that move is not suggested. If Rook E1, I was expecting Rook to D8 and Rook E4. What's wrong with Rook E4? After Rook E4, yeah, Rook E8 is definitely a mistake. But Knight G6, H5 was my calculation, Knight E7, and Queen E3, I'm sorry. And after Queen E3, I thought white was better, but the engine actually prefers black. Okay, the engine prefers black after King F8. Any other move and white is better. After King F8, yeah, the rook is kind of awkwardly placed. So I agree with the engine here. I agree. Okay, let me see the chat. What mod? I don't know why you keep asking me about the mod thing. I really don't want to deal with that right now. The engine gives Queen takes D2 as equal because it's an engine, yeah. Hey, Mr. Jive, check the line if the queen trade is accepted. Okay, I will check the line if the queen trade is accepted. So Queen D2, Queen takes Queen. Okay, let's turn on the engine, Rook takes Queen. And now what was the continuation? F5? Why give up a pawn? And black is better? Is this a joke? Ah, because I'm giving up this pawn. Okay, I agree now. Yeah, okay. So after f5 we don't take. And g5. My god, these engines are aggressive. Okay, I would never play this with black, because I would never see f5, g5. There's no way I would see this. So, whoa. Whoa. Okay, let's go back to our position here. So the engine likes queen takes d2 because it sees f5, g5, and all of that stuff. Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm happy with our line. Blunder rated. Is the position solved? Can we move on? Are you happy with the analysis? Yeah, John is asleep at the moment, I think. I think John, it's 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. where John is, so he might join us later. No, Skakomato, this is Svidler Carlsen. Okay, guys, can anybody suggest a new endgame? Who was it that linked the endgame early on when we started? I will try to scroll all the way up. Yeah, I can't see it. Guys, okay, Blunder rated, we will go through the game quickly. Okay, let's just scroll through the game to see what happened. So we had g3, f5, a rook trade, and now knight g6, a3, f4. So Carlsen is breaking up the kingside pawn structure. This is why I don't like g3, because you're creating targets. Bishop e4, fg3, fg3, and now all of a sudden the white king is very unsafe. And when playing these endgames, when playing endgames with queens on the board, I don't like having a weak king. So I would already prefer black in this position, even though white has the bishop. I think it's very hard to play this now. Okay, let's move on. Knight f8. The idea is probably to transfer the knight to d7 and to be able to blockade via knight f6. So if the knight gets to f6, it's controlling d5, it's attacking the bishop. So I understand knight f8. d5 played. Queen takes. Queen takes is weird, but I guess it leaves Svidler the option of creating a passed pawn later on the queen side, farther away from the black king. And it also doesn't weaken the king immediately. I'm not sure what's wrong with bishop takes. I think I would have played bishop takes. But yeah, he preferred the queen trade. And now, I mean, assessing this position is very hard. I would have kept queens on the board with white. Maybe Svidler was happy with the draw. I would have taken with the bishop to keep the queens on the board, because the winning chances here are pretty slim, I feel. Although I'm not sure. Even though the bishop is sort of dominating the knight, I think the knight can blockade, and also the black king is closer than white's king. b6 is a good move, stopping c5, b4 trying to play c5, knight d7 stopping c5. I wonder what's wrong with bishop c6 here. But I guess we can just repeat the position. Bishop c6 I think is interesting. King g2, king f8. Yeah, now that the black king has approached, and of course the black king is quicker, I don't think there are winning chances. Although, what happens to bishop takes f7? Why king e5? What's wrong with bishop e7? Bishop f7? Ah, I'm stupid. You lose the g-pawn. Sorry, king e5. And yeah, now it's just a draw. Although white is still better, and white has the opposition, so this still has to be calculated. Okay, so if you lose your reserve tempi, you lose the game because white is queening. But black, of course, has a pawn majority. So a move like f5 would, I think, lose the game, although I'm not sure. g6, I think, is just a waiting move. So I think very straightforward approach by black is needed, what was played in the game. I'm sorry, I can see the moves f6 and g5 because white doesn't have any other moves. He has to play king d5. The black king doesn't have a good waiting move, so he has to basically create a passed pawn. And now things get tricky. King takes pawn, king takes pawn. You have to exchange here. Oof. This is an extremely tricky endgame. Okay, so if I had this during a game, the first thing I would calculate is the pawn race. So let's see, king c5, king b4, king a4, king b4, and 4 pawn moves is 8, king g5, king h5, king g6, and 4 moves is 7. So black doesn't have time to take the pawn, if I'm not mistaken. Wait. Let me just have a look at the chat. How old was I when I started playing chess? I was 26 when I started studying chess, and when I played my first tournament game in 2015, when I was 25, I started playing Blitz online and started playing in a bar in Krakow, where I used to live at the time. This is dead symmetrical. If black goes for the pawn, loses. Black is better. This is tough. My rating in real life is 1909. So 1909. Yeah, this should be a draw, but I think this is losing for black. Because of the queening square. So if black goes for the pawn, then he loses, so he needs to do something else. I can see the game continuation here, which is slightly unfair, but wait, I actually have 400 rating points to FIDE Master. To National Master, I don't really know. My national rating is somewhere between 2000 and 2100. My highest rating ever is 1935, and to National Master I think I have another 150 points, although I'm not sure. I think 150. I'm not sure what my national exactly what my national rating is. I think it may be 2017 or something like that. So yeah, National Master is a title that I don't really care about my national rating too much. Okay, so in the game, Carlsen played king d6, and after king g5 he played king e5. So after this king f5, he's going for a draw by not allowing the white king out, which is, I mean, oh wait, he had to allow the king out because he had to move. And if he moves to f5, then king g7 wins. So in this position, yeah, and if the white king goes towards the pawn, then it's a draw. So in this position, it was stalemate. But after, let's say, king g8, if the king tries to wander this way, it's still a draw, because the black king is just controlling these two squares, and whatever white does, it's a draw. If white tries to go out, then the king gets to the corner. So this was actually a very interesting endgame, where black sacrificed the pawn and reached the corner and knew that white was unable to take the a5 pawn and win on the other side of the board. Okay. 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 This is Dvoretsky endgame manual position also? Okay, I didn't know. Okay, guys, do you want to do another endgame? What do you want to do? Okay, guys, link an endgame. Give me an endgame. Deve was the quickest. Okay. Oh, let me just copy paste it. Copy. Octopus Knight, you can find the Lucina position on YouTube. I think it's pretty simple. Grishbica, hello. Okay, let's do this one. Paste, enter. Jesus, this is tough. Who is it to move? It's black to move? Yes, it's black to move. Okay, delete. Okay, and black is going up and white is going down. Okay, I'm going to have to... Okay, just give me like 5 minutes. I need to see what's going on here. So my first assessment is that white should be able to draw. But I'm not sure. So if white gives up, it's black to move. This should be a draw. And I remember solving something similar, but it has to be tricky. So we can either play king e6 or king g6. And there are two things we have to check. Well, three things. Three things I would calculate here. I'm not saying it's not a win. I'm saying it could be a draw. So when we go king g6 or king e6, white is able to go back. He's able to go to the other side, opposite from us. Or he can go to these two squares, which could be very important regarding the opposition. White is also perhaps able to go for distant opposition somehow, although I'm not sure. The question is what happens when black moves a pawn. So let's start calculating. So king g6, if king e5, king g5. And I'm pretty sure white should be lost. King g6, king e5, king g5. White only has one good move, and that should be f4 and king g6, of course, and king... How do I keep the position? There is no way. So king g6, king e5, king g5, f4, king g6. If king d5, then king f6, king d6, and I'm not making progress. So king g6, king e5, king g5, f4, king g6, king d5. I could also try to go around. No, I'm stupid. King g6, king e5, king g5, f4, and I go king to g4. Easily winning, and then if king somewhere, I win the pawn and win the game. So this could work. King g6, if king e5, king g5, if he doesn't do anything and my king gets to f4, I feel like I'm winning. So after king g6, white shouldn't really advance. So this is the first thing I'm looking at, going to the other side of my king. I think this should be winning for black. Because if he moves the king, somewhere, I don't know, I go here, and he doesn't have a way to approach, and this should be winning. So let's say here, 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 here. Although this is still a draw, I think. So how do I... So I would have to go here. Wait. No, not moving the pawn immediately. Okay, so if I go here and white goes here, I believe black wins. Because let's say king d5 and king f4 and king d4 and f6 first to stop the king from going here, and this should be easily winning. And this is winning, definitely. So after king g6, let's say white tries to keep the opposition. So let's say he plays king f3. So if I go king g5, he plays king g3, the opposition. The problem is that I can waste a move with f6, and he has to hold here. And now this again should be easily winning, because I can shoulder the king out. This, I have the opposition. If he goes out, then I go around. No, I don't, because he goes here. So I go here. If he advances the pawn, this again should be easily winning. I just do this and I win, because I always have a reserve tempo. So after I move my king out, moving to the other side loses. Trying to get the opposition with king f3 should be lost. Let's just check from the other side. So king f3 here, here. Tempo, if he tries to hold, then I don't go around, wait. Okay, so if I try to force him out, I think this wins. This should be winning. So I don't think going for the opposition draws for white. I also don't think going to the other side draws for white. So the only other thing we have to look at is what if he doesn't hold the opposition, and if he tries to follow us. I think this is even more easily winning. Because in this position we just play f4 and the king is forced out. Yeah, this should be an easy win. Because or maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it's an easy win because of this move. So here, okay. So wait, so now still it gets tricky. If I play king f3, he takes, takes. And if I play f3, he goes around. Okay, let's start again. Kralj G6, kralj G3, kralj G5, kralj F3, F4. So king G6, king G3, king G5, king F3. I think this should be it. I think we advance both of our pawns. So I think this is good enough. Just playing f3 first before advancing the other pawn, because now he's forced back. Let's just see if he can try and draw. No, he can't. And if he goes here, then we can always tempo him out. Yeah, okay, I'm saying this is winning. Yeah, this should be just winning for black. Devi, this is winning for black, am I right? You submitted the endgame. Okay, good. I'm sorry this took so long, but I didn't see all the options. And yeah, I hope it's a standard endgame. Well, it's a theoretical endgame. I mean, you still have to prove that it's winning, even though Dvoretsky says it's winning. Why does king e6 doesn't work? I don't understand the question. Which position? King e6 doesn't work? Okay, let's see. Let's try to do the same thing. I don't see why king e6 doesn't work. Devi, why doesn't it work? After king e6, what's the move that holds the draw? I don't see it. Alpha, yeah. Was the draw after king e6? King e6, king e3. King e6, king e3, king e5, f3. And this holds? How can this hold? I have an extra tempo. So white should try to keep the opposition here somehow. So So here, here, here. Here, here, but what if I check? Here, here, here. I don't understand why this is a draw. I mean, I understand the idea, but I just don't. What if I play f4 immediately? So here you can grab the opposition. But I can force you out. Let's say I force you out with one move. Black is winning here. I'm sure black is winning here. I don't understand why this would be a draw. Does anybody, can anybody explain how this is a draw? After f4, king d3. Okay. Are you sure I can't enter? What do you do here? Yeah, this is, has the opposition here. If I go f3, and now if I go away, you enter here. Well, okay, so I don't play f4. And if I don't play f4, what if I play f6? I guess then you play f4, but okay, not f4, but not f4 by black. But what if I play f6? Roger that. What if I play f6 instead of f4? Then f4 check. And you hold the opposition? That's true, I have no other moves. This is irritating. So wait, why doesn't this work from the other side? Because you don't have the way to keep the opposition. Okay, so that's smart. So here, if you go king h3, I guess I just force you out. Yeah. Or not like this, wait. Yeah, okay. So from the other side, you don't have enough room to take the opposition. Let's just try that again. Okay, can anybody refute this? So after king to d3, I go king f5. What's the idea here? Roger that. Can you try and play for white here? What's the idea here after I go king back to f5? King d4. Okay, and now after king g4. Are you sure this is a draw? This seems incredibly winning for black. What's the move here? I don't know. I King e5, okay. And f6 check. And king e4. Yeah, and this is a draw. Jesus. Okay. Okay, so the lesson that can be learned from this endgame is that you want to go to the side where your opponent's king has less space. Because if you give him enough space on the other side, he could go for the opposition and hold. Okay, I agree with that. I think this was very instructive. Okay, thank you guys. I'm sorry if I didn't live up to your expectations. How do you like this format where I'm not prepared for the position? Do you like this better than what we did last week? What do you think was better, this week's or last week's lesson? Last week a bit prepared. Okay, Fala mršavi pijanac. We can mix the two. Yeah, okay, I suggest that for tomorrow's middle game lesson, we do the same thing to try the middle games like this. Okay, because the middle games are, I think, going to be more fun than the end game. Need more coffee, please. Yes, okay, that was the point. Okay, so we will do this for the middle game tomorrow. 8 p.m. and then we'll see how it goes. So guys, if you want tomorrow 8 p.m. creation, we will do a middle game analysis like this. Roger that. I'm going to be done for today because I have to play D&D with my friends, and I'm not joking. We just started the new campaign. We will be playing over Skype, and yeah, we start a D&D session soon. So yeah, I will need to finish and prepare in my free time. Okay, yeah, sure. Roger that. Send over the endgame. I will be happy to analyze it. Thank you. Need more coffee, please. Thank you for the 100 things. Thanks very much. This will go on YouTube. I will upload it as soon as we finish. Actually, I will need at least half an hour to download the video because my internet is... you said no game since a few years. Mršavi pijanac napiši na hrvatskom, nemam pojma šta to znači. Roger that, send it over to Lichess. I will forget to copy paste this link. You're more than welcome. Need more coffee, please. Skazal. Što si skazal? I don't read Russian that well, Delp. Što? My Russian sucks. Mršavi pijanac nije to igrica, to je... Okay, so Mršavi pijanac asked, do I not play games anymore? No, I don't play video games anymore. D&D is a role-playing game where you just talk to your friends. So I play that with my friends. That's my favorite game. Okay, yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. This will be going on YouTube. Join me for the middle game stream tomorrow at 8 p.m. Croatian. Prepare some interesting middle games. Whoever is the first one to link a middle game, we will analyze it. And also tomorrow will be a much longer stream. We will do at least 3 hours with a 5-minute break. And yeah, And yeah, it should be at least 3 hours. So we will have a look at 2 middle games, and we will also play some blitz games in the end. Okay, guys, do you want to raid somebody's channel who is online? Who do you want to raid? Tomorrow's stream is 8 p.m. Croatian. Okay, who is online? Which channel do you want to stream? I see Chess24, and I also see Alessia Santeramo, Chess Athletic, and some Chess TV thing. So let's raid Chess24. Okay, I will raid Chess24. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you like the format, and see you soon. Bye. Yeah, I'm still here like, for another 5 seconds because I have to wait for the rating to start. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow evening. Bye.